Hello and welcome back to Old Truthford, the home of honestly biased sports content. And today we will be doing a quick preview for the Man United v Man City derby tomorrow. Biggest game of the season, and one which a lot of fans don't have a lot of optimism going into based off the polls that we've been running. But yeah, I just thought I'd run through quickly, see how you peeps are feeling, and also just get a better idea of our chances. Bonjour, Mackenzie, Ilmi, I see you guys. How you doing? But yeah, I'll just quickly run through my predicted lineup. So I've put out the exact same lineup that faced Copenhagen earlier on in the week. I don't see Ten Hag changing anything. The only question mark I really have over the side is, will Eriksen come in for McTominay or Amrabat? But I don't see that happening. We do know that Wan-Bissaka is back from injury now, so that is good news. However, Delo, which I'm sure Mackenzie will be very happy about, is still on fire. So I think Delo will keep his place ahead of Wan-Bissaka. But yeah, this is the lineup that I'm going to go with. I'm going to go with Onana in net, Maguire and Varane at the back, Delo right back, good old Sergio left back. Hopefully he's in better spirits, better fitness as well, in comparison to his performance against Copenhagen, because I thought he was quite poor, in all honesty, given that he is the GOAT of the scene at the moment. I'm quite surprised how poor he was against Copenhagen, but he was returning from injury, so hopefully he'll come back and give us what we need to see. Amrabat at CDM. I think Casemiro still isn't 100% fit, and I'd be very surprised even if he was, to throw him straight back in against Man City. That seems like a recipe for disaster. Fernandes is going to be in the side, and yeah, McTominay over Eriksen. I think personally having Eriksen to come on would be more effective rather than having McTominay to come on. So yeah, I think McTominay will keep his place. Rashford down the left, which again, the negative Nellies aren't very happy about. A lot of people calling for Garnacho, but again, I don't think Garnacho is ready to start games. He's still very young. Højlund up front. Højlund, he's been a breath of fresh air. There's been a lot of talk about him getting on the end of crosses tomorrow, and yeah, hopefully we can see that in reality. Hopefully Anthony can actually find him a bit more. Rashford has been finding him more, despite people still calling him selfish. I mean, Rashford is directly looking for Højlund, and you can clearly see that in the matches. But yeah, hopefully Højlund can grab a goal and we can shut up the Haaland-Højlund debate. As for Anthony, I think Anthony's got a good chance of having a good game tomorrow. I mean, he really came onto the scene, Anthony, last season when we were a couple of goals down, I believe it was, against Man City at the Etihad, and Anthony scored that long ranger on his left foot. So hopefully he can replicate that tomorrow at Old Trafford. But yeah, that's my predicted 11. Do you guys agree with that? Anyone that you think Ten Hag's going to go with? Anyone you'd prefer to put in there? Let me just go through all of your comments. Good to hear, Ilmi. Good to hear. Mackenzie's good but shattered. Mackenzie, I don't know. You must have a very busy schedule, my friend. I mean, like, when it comes to late nights, it's not your thing, is it? Are you more of a morning person? Ilmi, so no Mount still. Yeah, I don't see. Could Ten Hag put Mount in? I don't know. I can't see him doing it in such a big game, like to make such a change, because we know at least with Anthony, he's going to give you like a 6.5 out of 10. He's going to track back, and based on Delo's performances against Manchester City and in the big games, Delo's going to need the support. So Yeah, I can't see him taking Anthony out, in all honesty. Yo, bro, how's it going, Keelan? Hopefully I'm saying your name right there. Mackenzie with the low heart eyes. Things you hate to see. Casemiro and Amrabat would be perfect for this game. They would. They would. I think, to be honest, I think if Solskjaer was still manager, he'd be creaming all over Casemiro and Amrabat right now. I mean, he was forced to play McTominay and Fred together, but and just screaming for a CDM, but now we've got two of them, so happy days. Me, we need to run a lot tomorrow. We do. Again, that leans more towards McTominay starting, if anything. The fact that we do need to have legs in the midfield. I just have question marks over Amrabat given that performance against Copenhagen, but it could have just been an off day for him. Baldy plays better at left back than DM, so I'm hoping we have Casemiro so we can have both in the team, says Mackenzie. We can dream, but it's not looking good, bruv. It's not looking good. Hate mornings and late nights. Would rather wake up late and sleep early, to be honest. Okay, so Mackenzie just likes being in a coma for the majority of the day, if anyone was wondering. Keelan, Anthony helps his fullback a lot. Yeah, I think that's pretty much Anthony's saving grace when it comes to staying in the team, to be honest. Mackenzie, I've had 4 naps today, been asleep 90% of today. Bloody hell, mate. I mean, I'm envious, if anything. But yeah, okay, so that's the predicted 11. We'll just go over to the stats behind the stats. Now, when we look at the last 5 results of the two teams, we're actually even with Man City. So that's one positive to have there. So as you can see, we're actually on a better winning run than Man City, winning our last 3. Man City have won 2 of their last 3, losing 1. But overall, last 5 matches, nothing separates us. However, when we look deeper into the stats, Manchester United came from behind to win this exact fixture 2-1 last season. They're looking to win consecutive home league games against Manchester City for the first time since a run of 3 between 08-09, 10-11. Now, this is something that I want you guys to pay attention to. Manchester United came from behind. That's the key bit of that stat. So we came from behind to win this exact fixture 2-1. Now, when we look at stat number 2, Manchester City have won more Premier League away games against Man United than any other side, 8, with 7 of their 8 wins at Old Trafford coming in their last 12 visits. Okay, so what does that tell us? That tells us Manchester City are comfortable at Old Trafford. Whether we like it or not, they've got a lot of wins there, which pushes me towards thinking we are 1,000 billion% not going to keep a clean sheet. We will not keep a clean sheet against Man City tomorrow. They're comfortable at our ground. They've got a recent history of winning at our ground. They will at least score 1 goal. So if we bear in mind that stat, as well as the first one with Manchester United came from behind last season to win, are we going to see a repeat is the question. So, third stat. Since the start of the 11-12 season, Manchester City have won 13 of their 24 Premier League meetings with Man United, drawn 3, lost 8, more than any other side in that time, their previous 30, blah, 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 Man City are good. Okay, that stat's meaningless. Don't pay attention to that stat. Stat number 4. This will be the 9th Premier League Manchester derby played straight after both sides have had a UEFA Champions League group stage game. Manchester City have won 5 of their previous 8, drawn 2, lost 1, with Manchester United's only victory coming in December 2012, 3-2 at the Etihad. Okay, that doesn't fill me with confidence, that fourth stat. Basically, whenever both of us have had a Champions League game in the middle of a week, and then we've played each other on the weekend, we've only won 1 out of 8. We've won 1 out of 8 of those matches. Drawn 2. Okay, that doesn't look good. But then we move over to the final stat, and this is the most important one. When we tie them all together, you'll see what I'm doing here. This is the most important stat. Manchester United have won their last 2 Premier League games, having lost 4 of their previous 6. All 5 of our Premier League wins this season have been by a single goal, with 4 of those being won courtesy of a goal scored in the final 15 minutes. So, in 80% of our wins this season in the league, we've won in the final 15 minutes. Now, the question is, can we repeat what we did last season identically? Because we were losing 1-0, and then we scored 2 goals or something in the last 15 minutes. So this is what's going to happen, guys. Either we will draw due to a terrible refereeing decision, or we will score the winner in the last 5 minutes. You've heard it here first. Now, given the stats earlier on, with the second stat specifically on how Manchester City have won more Premier League away games against Manchester United than any other side, they will score a goal. Manchester City will score a goal. I don't know how many games it's been since Manchester City haven't scored a goal. I'd like to think it's been a long time. So Manchester City will score a goal. This is what will happen. We will score a goal after they score a goal, and we'll go into half-time 1-1. Now, in the second half, Manchester City may get close. They may not, but they will get close. Whether it be an offside or a refereeing decision, they'll get close to scoring a second. They will not score that second goal because it will either be called offside or the penalty won't be given or something like that. And then we will go on to score. It will be 2-1 at that point. Pep will throw everything at the match to try and get a draw back or even go for the win. Alas, he will fail. And then we will score in the final 5 minutes, and the end result will be 3-1 Manchester United. There we go. We've looked at the stats. We've looked at the history. We've looked at Man City's current form, Man United's current form. It will either end 3-1 Manchester United, or it will end as a 1-1 draw. Get your score predictions in the chat, lads. Let me read what you guys are saying. McTominay in the midfield, passing stats bad. We need Mount or Eriksen in there. To be fair, it could be a game where Mount could come into midfield, because Man City aren't necessarily the most physical team. I believe they're not the most physical team, so in a way, Mount in there could be pretty good, but defensively, are we going to leave ourselves that wide open? Are we going to leave ourselves that wide open? I don't think we are. I would be very surprised if we do. And having Mount in the midfield does leave us open, whereas McTominay at least has that extra level of protection. I don't see Ten Hag risking it, in all honesty. Ilmi, we will win 1-0. Mackenzie, smash and grab. It's going to be a late 2-1. Hope so anyway. Ilmi Rashi will score on the 88th minute and we will win. Diego, here's a stat. City are and always will be pish compared to United. That's the stat I like to hear, Diego. But 1-0 win. Truthfordians, we believe. Okay. Well, people are in decent spirits. I'm seeing a lot of accurate score predictions there, given the stats that I've shown you. I'm still going to go for a 3-1. I feel as though there will be pressure put on late. We'll be 2-1 up, middle of the way of the second half, but we will prevail, and we will win this match. 3-1. Okay. 3-1 sounds ambitious. It'll be a very flattering 3-1. It won't be we're going to completely dominate them and we'll get loads of goals. It'll be a 2-1 edgy game and then we'll score a goal. I can see Garnacho coming on, maybe scoring the third. Get your scorers in the chat. I want to see what your predictions are for who you think is actually going to grab these goals. So Kieran going for a 3-2 last minute winner. I'm feeling that last minute winner energy here. I think we have definitely turned a corner under Ten Hag. Like all of the games have been recent games have been fairly close with Man City. I'm just trying to remember our last few results with them. So there was 2-1 at home. We got demolished by them a bit. Oh no, it wasn't demolished, was it? It was like 5-3, something like that. So it was fairly close, but it wasn't that close because they demolished us in the first half. But then in the FA Cup, it was also a fairly close game where Gundogan was the difference maker, and he's now left them. And City aren't the same team that they were last year. You can clearly see they aren't. But what does scare me is an on-form Julian Alvarez, who we very well could have bought ourselves under Rangnick, but we alas we didn't. I think he's the biggest threat for me. I don't see Haaland as a particular big threat. Famous last words, but I don't see him performing tomorrow. Whereas Julian Alvarez, I'm quite worried about him if he does play or start. Diego, I do unreasonable things for a Garnacho counter-attack beauty. Me too, man. Mackenzie. Bruno Fernandes. And Delo Screamer. Imagine Delo scores a screamer. Another screamer. I think Mackenzie would. I don't want to think what Mackenzie would do, actually. Keelan, Garnacho, Derby Day hero, loading. Mackenzie. To be fair, we said City wasn't the same City last year, and look what they ended up doing. I don't know who said that City weren't the same City last year. Like, speak for yourself, Mackenzie. I mean, like last year, City were all they did was drop a few points, but like this season, I don't know if I can pull it up, but I think they've already lost like 3 games this season. Let's have a look. Okay, no, Man City have lost 2 games this season. Last season, in the entire season, they lost 5. So if we do beat them, this could very well be not a changing of the guard necessarily, because I still don't think United are there, but it could be the beginning of the end for Man City's dominance. You got to remember, they're going to have a hangover from winning their plastic treble last year. And will the drive be there still? Or do they just have very talented players with a lack of drive? That's the question. Who wants it more? I think we want it more than Man City at the moment. Garnacho torn City apart last season. He did. Getting that assist for Rashford. Diego, Martial showing up for that 6-3 loss with 2 goals in the last 10 minutes. Yep. Who knows? Martial could play a big part tomorrow. Diego, we were done for a 6-1, if not for that. Yeah. But we got the goal of the game with Anthony, so they can't clap at us for that. Mackenzie, when they were 6 points behind Asna, it was everywhere that City was worse with Haaland. Yeah, nah, I wasn't buying that. I think people only said that because the season beforehand there was the whole debate of whether United were better or not without Cristiano Ronaldo. So people were trying to tag the same thing onto Haaland because that's what happens. Like, people will make a valid argument for one thing where there'll be evidence to support it, and then they'll kind of get attached to that idea and just place it onto other players because it's in their mind and it doesn't relate to that scenario at all. So I don't know why people were why people were saying City were worse with Haaland. It made no sense. It was and then like, I can see what they mean because Haaland doesn't necessarily press as much as, say, Julian Alvarez, but still, nah, that wasn't right. Keep forgetting that Ronaldo hasn't been gone that long. Yeah, it feels like it's been about 3 years, doesn't it? This is a crazy thing as well, guys. We're just going on a tangent now, but even under Ten Hag, like, he's only been manager for just over a year. And the idea that people are already saying Ten Hag out, it's mad. It's actually madness. But like, because before the trend was, oh yeah, 3rd year, you have to win the Premier League at Man United. And if you don't, then you're going to get fired and we're all going to turn on you. Now, it's been just over a year and people are turning on Ten Hag. Like, the modern football fan is absolutely bonkers, if you ask me. Yeah, they are plebs, Diego. Genuinely, it's like, it's crazy though, because like I'll do a post on my Instagram and I'll just see every now and then someone saying Ten Hag out, and I was like, I wonder what goes through these people's heads, because surely they can't be Man United fans. Like, it doesn't make sense. Was it only at the start of last season that Ronnie left? Yeah, it was January, wasn't it? Because it was in the January transfer window that he went to what was that? I don't know any of their names. Saudi League. Al Hassar? Is it Al Hassar? But no. Al Nassr, that's what it is. Cheers, Diego. Killen. Man United was always a 5-year project. Funny how fast people change from us. Yeah, exactly. That's why I've said, like, even, like, I'm giving Ten Hag a minimum of 5 years. Like, genuinely, I don't care if in the 3rd season we end up 10th. Like, I literally could not give less of a shiz. Like, I'm bored of the new manager, like, just doing that over and over again. I just want to see one manager at the club for a long time. Like, people had their question marks over Solskjaer, fair enough. Like, still think it was a bit unfair, but like, fair enough having their question marks. At the end of the day, he lost the dressing room, all of this, but now Ten Hag's here and he's won a trophy in his 1st season. Like, nobody's going to turn their back on Ten Hag now, or they shouldn't anyway, because it's up to the players now. And people say, oh, he spent this much money and who cares anymore? Who cares about the price tag, Jesse J? Like, literally, just give him time. The thing that these managers need is time, not like amounts spent. That's how I judge it now. Look at Arsenal with Arteta. They finished 8th 2 seasons in a row with him. And they still, exactly. And it's not like Arteta's done it on a shoestring budget. He spent a bunch of cash as well. He spent more than Ten Hag. So, but sometimes it's our own fans that throw throw us in terrible positions because they just get addicted to feeling negative or whatever it is. I think as well, I think it's down to the fans whether how long Ten Hag stays, because if you remember with Solskjaer's reign, like it wasn't until the fans kept like going crazy on social media that the Glazers even considered getting rid of him. Like we saw giant losses to Liverpool, to Man City, and the Glazers still got behind him. It was only until like the fans fully turned, which means that as long as we don't turn against Ten Hag, he will stay at the club. So fingers crossed that he can actually do that. But yeah, guys. So prediction for tomorrow, I'm going 3-1. I can see Ten Hag sticking with the same lineup and bringing on Eriksen around 60th minute if the game isn't outside of our hands by then. And yeah, I think outside of our hands by then. And yeah, I think we can pick that 3-1 win up. I miss Ole, man, but also he got so much hate online, legit agenda in my opinion. Yeah, it was, well, the thing that turned me against some certain United content creators, where I was just questioning like the morals behind them, was when Ole did that exit interview and he was crying. Like he went to tears and he was saying like, oh yeah, it's your dream job and it's sad, but hopefully the next manager can win the league and all of this stuff. And then people were like, say, oh yeah, he's doing it for PR to help his Glazer mates and all of this stuff. I'm just like, you literally cannot empathize with anyone, can you? If you can't tell that this man has worked on his dream job, he's come short, and now the fans that were celebrating him winning a treble have turned against him and said that he's a puppet and a leech to the club. Like, you can't empathize with that man. Like, you really think Ole is just there to be a front man? He doesn't care about the club. It's madness. The media also put pressure on Erik ten Hag. They misplaced the pressure though. Like, I don't pay attention to anything the media say. Like, I don't pay attention. Like, no offense, guys. I mean, I pay attention to most of you because, like, I'm getting a feel for what your opinions are surrounding the club. But when it comes to just every person on the Instagram and they're just blindly saying like Ten Hag out, it's like water off a duck's back, to be honest. I don't pay much attention to it. True Curlin, remember Carragher interview after just 2 losses? Like, yeah. Yeah, at the start of last season, everyone was ready to jump on Ten Hag. It was mad. And they're just doing the same this season. There's a couple content creators as well that literally don't give him a break. I'd love to eventually get to the size of some of these content creators so I could actually speak to them and just see what goes through their head, because surely they're doing it for headlines and thumbnails and clickbait titles and stuff. Like, they can't surely believe this stuff. Ole seems like a nice guy, but the Man United job was too much for him. Yeah, 100%. Well, we've seen it as well with Carrick and McKenna doing so well that I think they were the main brains behind the operation, and the fact that Solskjaer has decided not to come back to management. But yeah, I think that's what's going on. Charity boxing match. Oh god, don't know about that, man. Don't know about that. I don't want to get done for manslaughter in the ring. No. Mackenzie, I'm off for a bit. My dad's come down for boxing and he don't want to listen to the stream. See you, lads. No worries, Mackenzie. Appreciate it. Appreciate you tuning in, man. I'm probably going to switch off as well, guys. I'm going to start a stream for the Ngannou Tyson Fury fight soon, like in the next probably 10 minutes or so. So feel free to tune in if you're interested in the boxing. But yeah, thanks for tuning in, and hopefully see you all tomorrow. Godspeed.